Hey guys, welcome back to another video from Hopeless Hello. Today we'll be continuing the series of how to homebrew, and we'll be going over something probably more useful because it doesn't get any worse than a background. So today we'll be learning how to homebrew a feat. So you'll just enter the homebrew way the same way as always. Just go to collections, my homebrew creations, create a, and then you choose whatever you want. This time feat. Alright, we can use an existing feat as template, but we won't be. We'll be doing it from scratch. So there's all this useful information that you could probably read yourself and get a good idea of what to do, but we're going to do that ourselves. So, name. Hopper. Version's not really needed. Description. Alright, this is where you put a bit of fluff or lore, or whatever you want to call it. But more importantly, what goes here is the abilities of the feat. So let's see. You have trained in the ways of jumping. You gain the following benefits. Yay. Imagine misspelling benefits. Could be me. Alright then. And we could just put some little bullet points. Cool. Alright then. You can use your dexterity. I don't even want to spell that. I'll just let the autocorrect. Really? Dexter. There's a T. Dexterity. Instead of strength for the purposes of long and high jumps. When you make a standing, long, or high jump, you can roll a d8 and add the result to your total jump height / distance. And of course I misspelled that too. When you make a running long or high jump, you can roll a d12, and I could just copy and paste, honestly. And if you feel like your feat is too weak, something that you can always just add on top is just an additional line like this. You can increase your strength or dexterity. Wow, I had it right in front of me and I spelled it wrong. Score by 1. Boom. And you can replace these two with anything, or you could just make it so it's not a choice, and just make it, oh, only your dexterity increases. Oh, only your wisdom increases. Oh, only your charisma increases. Who knows? But rule of thumb, if you do have a stat boost, make it 1, always 1, and never make it multiple stats, because you could just take an ability score improvement and just do that normally. But with this feat, you would get even more abilities. That's not exactly fair. And for a snippet, basically you could put a summary here, but If you keep it compact like this, there really is no need. And then feat tags, basically for searching to help you find it quicker. Let's see, it could. What could we put some tags on here? It could be exploration. History, medicine, movement. Could be movement. And utility. Boom. Some tags. And create feat. Now we aren't done yet. This is just the meat of it. Now we gotta put the bones. Prerequisites. Sometimes we need prerequisites. I can add a prerequisite. It doesn't exactly make sense to in this description, but what should it be? Usually it's based off of a stat, and usually the number's 13. So, like, the inspiring leader has a prerequisite of charisma 13 or higher. So, in this case, I'm going to require a prerequisite of dexterity score of 13 or higher. Boom. And then we can come down here and see. So here are the different prerequisite types. Ability score. So like what I just did here. There could be a custom value. A level. That I have never seen a feat that uses a prerequisite of a level, but it could really be helpful if you don't want your players getting this feat late game. A proficiency. Although this is a bit weird for a prerequisite, it could make sense depending on how your feat works. Race. This one's a bit iffy, but it is always kind of cool to have some race feats. Size. This is really not that useful because the only real sizes of choosable races are small or medium. But if you have some homebrew races that make large or tiny creatures playable races, then this might be more useful. And finally, subrace. It's like race, but more complicated. So we'll just do ability score, dexterity, and the value is 13. And boom, we have a prerequisite. If we go back to our edit, we can see a prerequisite of dexterity score of 13 or higher. Options. If you get to choose between things like maybe strength or dexterity, you can add options. Typically, you wouldn't actually put the strength or dexterity in here. It was just more of an example. Usually, options would just be to choose something like your feat gives you multiple different power options, and you choose one. Though you could make them into separate feats if that's the case, but to each their own. Modifiers is where we'll put the stats. There's a bunch of modifier types that we probably don't have the time to go over. So I'm going to go over the best ones and the ones you'll probably use. You only use this for armor-based things. You only use this for bard-like things. Set's kind of useful. It's usually for stat scores, speed, and armor class. Advantage basically gives you advantage on something in here. This has all the skills. This has all the checks. It has all the saving throws. It has all the stats. Eldritch Blast is if you want to make that overpowered cantrip even better. Ranged weapon attack is for ranged weapon attacks. It basically it gives you a ranged weapon attack. You choose the damage type, how many dice that it rolls, yada yada yada. Expertise is always good. It allows you to do in weapons, armor, skills, a whole bunch of things, even supplies and tools and all that jazz. It's basically you can add your proficiency bonus twice. There's immunity. You can give immunity to a damage type. Stacking bonuses. They're ability scores that stack. Vulnerabilities. You really don't want to add this unless you want a downside to your feat. Bonus. there's a lot of bonuses you can choose from. It's pretty much just stat things though. Speed reduction, imposing and removing. Favorite enemy, ranger-like stuff. Proficiencies, you get proficiencies and skills. Size, the feat can change your size. I don't understand how. Maybe if there's like a giant or like a pixie or I don't know, something. Disadvantage, it's advantage except opposite. Natural weapon, you can get a natural weapon. Let's see, melee weapon attack, it's like ranged weapon attack except melee. Half proficiency, once again, bard-like things. Resistance, instead of immunity, you can give only resistance. Yay. Replace damage type, you can replace something with another damage type. Set base, like all the senses. Damage, it's just straight up damage. Carrying capacity, it allows you to choose which carrying capacity they use. You can also select multiplier, and if I put a 2 here, and that just whoops, if I put a 2 here, that just straight up multiplies it by 2. Their carrying capacity is what I mean. Ignore, you could just straight up ignore certain restrictions, like unnatural dex and natural AC bonus. There is also twice proficiencies, ignoring weapon properties like heavy for small creatures. There's languages that you could get. There's weapon properties you could add, like all my weapons are now finesse. That's incredibly useful. Protection. This one's a bit strange, but basically, you know, a half-orc's ability that allows it to go to 1 HP instead of 0 once. That's basically what this is. And finally, a sense, like blind sight, dark vision, tremor sense, true sight, all that jazz. Now, although we do get a bonus, I do not believe a jump is on this. Nope. So we will not be using this. Actually, I should show you how to use the rest of that stuff, huh? Alright, so ability score. If the bonus that you get from this, usually number-based, is from an ability score, like, I guess, dexterity in this case, then you select that. Dice count, if you have to roll dice, like for damage, or just for how high you jump or whatever, you put how many dice you roll here, so I guess 1 in our case. The die type, a D8. In another universe, I'd do with a D12. A fixed value is if you just want a set number or to add a number to this already. So 8, boom. Yeah. Additional bonus types is it applies a bonus modifier of the selected types, and usually it's it's proficiency bonus, attuned item count, or spell level. And details. Actually, this is some great examples here. So I'll just leave that here, but you can pause if you really want to read this. And duration interval, 3 minutes. Boom. But anyways, our hopper doesn't need this. I just wanted to show it to you because it's one of the most important parts. You can add spells too. Any spell here. So let's see. What's a good spell? Oh, I know what spell. Cool. You can also put multiple spells. Notice if you've put multiple spells, it'll ask them to choose between these spells. If you want all of these spells put together and to the feat, you'll need to do this multiple times and put each one in separately. So for now, we'll just get rid of these. Spell levels. You can choose at what level it's cast. If you choose a level, then what it can be cast below, since Hallow is a 5th level spell. If I choose 3, or 2 in this case, it will always cast it at 5th level and consider it's at 5th level. So don't bother. But you could just straight up bump it up to 9. Who knows? I guess an appropriate one for this hopper spell would be the spell jump. Anyways, spell class. Basically, yeah. Let me cover over this. If access to a class of spells are allowed, choose the spell list here. So basically, if you want to give an entire spell list because of a single feat, boom, right here. Attack type, if this gives you an attack. Level divisor, this is if you want things to scale. Ritual spells, it only allows you to cast it as a ritual, if you click that. ability score, what stat it uses. Leave this blank if you want it to be the default, like Bard, Charisma, Cleric, I don't know, Wisdom. Yeah, that's what clerics use. Number of uses, leave this blank for infinity. But I'll put frogs 7. Use what, and as for why the stats are here again, you could have 7 plus their modifier in a certain stat, so I'll go with Dex. How does it reset? Short rest, long rest, at the start of dawn, other, leave it blank for if it doesn't. Cast at level, woo. Make it cast at different levels again. Casting time, you can change how long it takes to cast. So that's going to take 4 minutes. Boom. Spell range. You can make it. You can change its range, so you can actually make it so other people can jump better or have the Hallow spell for temporarily. Range distance 900 feet. Boom. Additional description. Yay. And is it infinite? If it allows you to choose any of these, any and all of these, then you click that. Boom. Now they get both of them, if they want. All right, and we'll just save that, honestly. Actions. This looks quite basic, but there's some information here if you want to pause and read it. But we're just going to go with general. Basically, you get to add an attack here. You can basically make it so they just have a different type of attack. General is just like a natural weapon. Weapon is like a normal weapon. And spell is basically an attack, just your typical attack, but it's a spell. It has magical damage, it has more damage types, yada yada yada. And finally, creatures. If it gives you access to a creature, then yeah, create a rule. Wild shape, monster types, giants, max challenge rating. So what am I doing here? Well, this is the group. This is the type of creatures that it will apply to. You can leave this blank if you want. Technically, you can't actually. So pets, they can be pets. Pet giants with a max challenge rating of 6. You can choose. You can restrict movement types in case you don't want to give your guys a guy who can fly. But I don't think giants can fly. Challenge rating level divider. Yeah, basically you can make it so your player's level, say it's 20, you can have it divide by one of these numbers, and that's the maximum challenge rating they could take. So if they're level 20 and I choose 2, that means the max challenge rating they can take is 10. So why is the max 6 over here? Well, this will keep going no matter what. So basically, if they're level 4, the max challenge rating will be 2. If they're level 8, the max challenge rating will be 4. Yada yada. Until you reach like 12, because 12, half of it is 6. But once you reach like 14, half of it's 7. In which case, this kicks in and bumps it back down to 6. And finally, you can choose sizes. I chose giant, so I might as well choose huge. Yeah. But for something more frog-like, we'll tap into Beast. We'll go challenge rating 1, because I believe that's what a giant frog is. Actually, I think it's a half, but in case you don't want like a giant toad or something. We'll keep it at half, just in case. Actually, that won't matter, because they'll be level 4 by the time they take this feat. But anyways, no flying frogs allowed here. And they must be huge frogs. But anyways, yeah. Now you probably noticed something else when I was in here, and there is choose monsters. You can just straight up choose a monster. Boom, got a frog. You can also make it count as a pet. Boom, pet frog. And just hit save changes here at the top once you're done, and boom, you've created a feat. Now this one's a bit more complicated, mainly because I had to explain modifiers, something we didn't even use for this. But this will be good setup for next episode. where we'll be going over another thing. What thing will that be, you ask? We'll be looking over magic items. Something you guys probably want to see. But anyways, that's all the time I have for today. Bye for now!